What's up, tennis fans? I'm Lauren Lynch, and this is Tennis Now, your source for the latest tennis news now. The Australian Open starts next Monday, and Robin Soderling is already overwhelming in Oz. The top-seeded Soderling slammed 16 aces and did not face a break point in dismissing defending champion Andy Roddick 6-3, 7-5 to capture the Brisbane International tournament title. Soderling snared his 7th career title without surrendering a set. It is a significant title for Soderling, who surpassed Andy Murray to secure a top 4 seed at the Australian Open by virtue of the victory. Soderling has lost in the opening round in 3 of his 5 Australian Open appearances and said winning Brisbane will empower him for a run in Melbourne. I'm playing really well, and what makes me really happy is I never really played well in Australia before. I didn't have the results here, and now finally I have won a tournament playing really good tennis, which makes me really happy. It gives me a lot of confidence for Melbourne. Roddick said the 2-time French Open finalist is a title contender for the Australian Open. Roddick said, "He certainly has the game to beat anyone on a given day, that's for sure, and he's proven that. He's made deep runs at the French Open the last 2 years, so it definitely wouldn't shock me if he made a deep run." Andy Murray was Australian Open runner-up last year and may well tune up for his return to Oz by practicing with a familiar face, Novak Djokovic. Murray, who has known Djokovic since they were 13-year-old juniors, said he usually practices with the Joker before most Grand Slam tournaments. Murray said, "I practice with Novak all the time. I practice with him loads. I practice with him pretty much before every slam, more because it's a lot easier to get time on the big court if you play with another high seed. It's perfect to get your eye in and stay sharp. Hopefully we can help each other because normally we're on the opposite side of the draw, so we wouldn't have to play each other until the final of the Australian Open. We grew up playing a lot of the same tournaments, so we know each other's games pretty well." Some of tennis's top stars took to the court at Melbourne Park to practice for the Australian Open over the weekend, and our man in Melbourne, Tennis Now photographer Mark Peterson, was on hand shoot for all of the action. To see a shirtless Fernando Verdasco work on his tan, Maria Sharapova work on her serve with a new head racket, and Gael Monfils juggle tennis balls, head over to Tennis Now Photo Gallery. We'll be updating it with Mark's latest images throughout the Australian Open. Australian number 1 Lleyton Hewitt hit the practice court with coach Tony Roche in Melbourne. The 29-year-old Hewitt has seen his ranking drop to number 54 after a wrist injury forced him to pull the plug on his 2010 season last September. Hall of Famers John McEnroe and Ivan Lendl say a return to the top 10 is likely beyond Hewitt's grasp. McEnroe said he has got a lot to be proud of, but players are hungry and younger, it's tough. On a given day, I think he could beat anybody, but to go all the way back, that means you have to be healthy for an extended period of time. I hope he's healthy to have that chance. It's going to be very difficult to get back to that level, but he certainly is one of the greatest competitors I've seen on a tennis court. McEnroe and Lendl are in Hewitt's hometown of Adelaide to compete in this week's World Tennis Challenge, in which a current ATP Pro teams with a legend. McEnroe will partner with Ryan Harrison, Lendl partners with Ivan Lubicic, Australia's Pat Cash joins forces with Kei Nishikori, and Frenchman Henry Lecomte and Michael Lodra will pair up. A strained groin has forced defending Sydney champion Marcos Baghdatis to withdraw from this week's Sydney event. The former Australian Open finalist is undergoing treatment and hopes to recover in time for this year's first major. Marcos Baghdatis said, "I tried to go for the ball yesterday or the day before. I felt a bit of pain and I prefer not to risk it. I'm a bit disappointed. I'm the defending champion here and I wanted to play so much. I have family here and I wanted to play in front of them too. It was not an easy one, but sometimes you have to take decisions that are not easy." Caroline Wozniacki was nursing a bruised ego following the 6-1, 6-0 beatdown she absorbed from Wimbledon and US Open finalist Vera Zvonareva at Hong Kong exhibition over the weekend. The world number 1 has switched from Babolat to Yonex to start the season, and Wozniacki hopes to bounce back to her winning ways in Sydney. Wozniacki said. It was an exhibition match and I'm looking forward to playing a real tournament this week. Last year was my season and hopefully this year can be as great as well for me. She rewrote the record book and now Monica Seles is taking tennis to young adults. Hall of Famer Seles has sold a young adult novel called The Academy that will focus on a group of young tennis players working their way through a voluntary-type tennis academy and finding love, loss, victory, and fame, the New York Post reports. Well, that wraps us up for today, tennis fans. Be sure to subscribe to the Tennis Now YouTube channel. All you need to do is click on that little button under the Tennis Now logo that says subscribe, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter as we're giving you the latest tennis news. I'm Lauren Lynch, and this is Tennis Now. Thanks for watching. See you on Friday.